Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Claire Weston, and if you're new here, glad you found us. I've been practicing medicine for over 20 years, and I'll tell you something I say to every single patient who walks through my door. The body is always trying to tell you something. The question is whether you're listening. Today, we're talking about something that affects millions of men, especially as we get older. And honestly, it doesn't get nearly enough attention. We're talking about poor circulation in the legs and feet. Now, I know that might not sound as scary as a heart attack or a stroke, but trust me, when your circulation is off, everything downstream suffers. And I mean everything. I see guys come into my office all the time, retired, active, hardworking men, and they tell me, "Doc, my legs feel heavy," or "My feet are always cold," or "I get this cramping when I walk that just stops me in my tracks." And what breaks my heart is how many of them were told by someone else, "Oh, that's just part of getting older. Nothing we can do." That is not good enough. That has never been good enough. And that's exactly why I'm here today. Here's what I want to do for you. I'm going to walk you through 4 vitamins, backed by real science, that can genuinely improve circulation in your legs and feet. And I'm saving the most powerful one for last, so make sure you stick around, because that one is a game changer. I'm also going to give you specific dosage guidance because I know that's what you actually need, not just eat more spinach. You need real numbers, real foods, and real answers. That's what we're doing today. But first, let me take a minute to explain what's actually happening inside your body when circulation goes bad. Because understanding the problem is the first step to fixing it. Your legs and feet are the farthest points from your heart. Think of it like a city water system. The pressure at the end of the line is always weaker than at the source. Your cardiovascular system works the same way. Gravity is constantly working against the blood trying to return from your feet back up to your heart. And as we age, a few things start to go wrong. The arterial walls stiffen, plaque builds up, a condition called atherosclerosis, and the arteries narrow. The venous valves, those little one-way gates that keep blood moving upward, start to weaken. Diabetes accelerates all of this because high blood sugar over time damages the walls of your blood vessels directly. They become less elastic, less efficient, and the blood just doesn't move like it used to. Now here's something important I want you to hear. Poor circulation doesn't announce itself loudly at first. It creeps in quietly, long before you see anything obvious. So let me give you 6 warning signs to watch for, and I want you to be honest with yourself about these. Number 1, numbness or tingling in your legs and feet, that pins and needles sensation, especially after sitting for a while. A lot of guys shrug this off. Don't. It's your nerves telling you the blood supply is getting thin. Number 2, cold feet. Even when the room is warm, blood carries heat throughout your body. When circulation is poor, your extremities are the first to lose warmth. If your feet feel like ice blocks in July, that's a red flag. Number 3, cramping, especially while walking or right after exercise. This is called intermittent claudication, and it happens when your muscles are working but not getting enough oxygen-rich blood to keep up. It's a classic sign of peripheral arterial disease. Number 4, skin color changes. If your legs or feet look pale, bluish, or have a reddish tint that comes and goes, that's your body showing you oxygen isn't getting where it needs to go. It gets worse in cold weather and after long periods of sitting or standing. Number 5, varicose veins. I know a lot of men think this is a women's issue. It's not. Those twisted, bulging veins under the skin form when the venous valves fail and blood pools in the wrong place. They're a direct sign that your circulation is struggling. Number 6, restless leg syndrome, that irresistible urge to move your legs, especially at night. The creeping, crawling, tingling sensation that just won't let you rest. It's more common in men with poor circulation than most people realize, and it destroys sleep quality. If you recognize yourself in any of those, or more than one, keep watching. What I'm about to share with you is exactly what I recommend to my own patients when we're looking to support circulation naturally alongside their other treatments. Now, I want to address something before we get into the vitamins. I hear from a lot of you in the comments, and honestly, I hear the same thing from patients, that you've gone to your doctor and asked about vitamin testing, about nutritional approaches, and you've been brushed off. I get it. Our healthcare system is built around treating disease, not preventing it. A lot of physicians are overworked, and nutritional medicine just doesn't get the attention it deserves in medical training. I'm not here to bash anyone, but I am here to give you the information you deserve. You have every right to advocate for yourself, and if your doctor won't listen, you find one who will. All right, let's talk vitamins. I'm going over 4 of them, and I'm ranking them from helpful to most powerful. Pay attention to the dosages. This is what most videos skip, and it matters. Coming in at number 4 is vitamin B3, also known as niacin. Now, don't let the number 4 fool you. This vitamin is no slouch. Niacin has been called the silent hero of cardiovascular health. And honestly, that's a pretty accurate nickname. Here's what niacin does for your circulation. It dilates blood vessels, meaning it makes them wider, which directly improves blood flow. It raises your HDL, the good cholesterol, and helps lower LDL and triglycerides. That matters because high LDL is one of the main drivers of the plaque buildup that narrows your arteries. There's also solid research showing that niacin is beneficial for men with type 2 diabetes, improving insulin sensitivity, which is huge because, as I mentioned, diabetes is one of the biggest enemies of healthy circulation. One thing I want you to know about niacin, it can cause what's called a niacin flush, a temporary redness and warmth, particularly in the face and chest. It's harmless, but it can be startling if you're not expecting it. Starting at a lower dose and gradually working up minimizes this. The typical therapeutic range for cardiovascular support is 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day, but please do not start at 1,000 milligrams. Start at 100 milligrams with food and work up slowly. And if you're on any medications, particularly statins, talk to your doctor before adding niacin. Food sources rich in B3 include chicken breast, tuna, salmon, turkey, pork, peanuts, lentils, and whole grain breads and cereals. If you're a meat eater, you're probably getting some B3 already, but likely not enough to have a therapeutic effect on circulation. Moving on to number 3, vitamin C, good old ascorbic acid. You've heard your whole life that vitamin C is for your immune system. And yes, that's true. But what most people don't know is how critical it is for the structural integrity of your blood vessels. Here's the key. Vitamin C is essential for the production of collagen. And collagen is the scaffolding that keeps your veins and arteries strong and flexible. Without adequate vitamin C, the walls of your blood vessels weaken. They become prone to damage, inflammation, and eventually problems like varicose veins and poor venous return. Vitamin C is also a powerful antioxidant, which means it fights the oxidative stress that damages the cells lining your blood vessels. For men dealing with tired, heavy, restless legs, getting your vitamin C intake right can make a noticeable difference. The recommended daily allowance for adult men is 90 milligrams, but research supports higher intakes, up to 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day, for cardiovascular benefits. The good news is that vitamin C from food is highly bioavailable and very safe. Go above 2,000 milligrams per day, and you might get some digestive upset, but otherwise it's one of the safest vitamins you can take. Food sources: oranges, grapefruits, kiwi, strawberries, bell peppers, especially red bell peppers, which have more vitamin C per ounce than most citrus, papaya, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and tomatoes. One thing to keep in mind, vitamin C degrades with heat and light. So the longer your produce sits and the more you cook it, the less vitamin C you're getting. Fresh is always better. Raw when you can. Number 2 on our list, vitamin K, specifically vitamin K2. This is one that flies completely under the radar, and I think it's one of the most underappreciated nutrients for men's cardiovascular health. Here's why vitamin K2 matters so much for circulation. It activates a protein called osteocalcin, which basically acts like a traffic cop for calcium in your body. Without enough K2, calcium doesn't go where it's supposed to, into your bones and teeth. Instead, it starts depositing in soft tissues, including your arterial walls. That's called arterial calcification, and it's a major driver of atherosclerosis, the stiffening and narrowing of arteries that chokes off blood flow to your legs and feet. Vitamin K2 literally helps keep your arteries clear and flexible. Studies out of Europe, particularly the Rotterdam study, found that men with higher K2 intake had significantly lower rates of arterial calcification and cardiovascular disease. This is not fringe nutrition. This is real, well-replicated science. The recommended adequate intake for vitamin K is around 120 micrograms per day for adult men, but for arterial protection, some researchers recommend 180 to 360 micrograms of K2 specifically. The MK7 form, derived from fermented foods, has the longest half-life in the body and is generally preferred for supplementation. Food sources of vitamin K2 include natto, fermented soybeans, big in Japanese cuisine available at Asian grocery stores across the U.S., hard cheeses like Gouda and Edam, egg yolks, butter, chicken liver, and fermented vegetables. Vitamin K1, found in kale, spinach, broccoli, and other dark leafy greens, is also beneficial, though the body's conversion to K2 is limited. One important note: if you're on blood thinners like warfarin, vitamin K can interfere with your medication. This is non-negotiable. Talk to your doctor before changing your K intake. And now, the one you've been waiting for. The number one vitamin for improving circulation in your legs and fight. Vitamin E. I've been practicing medicine for over 20 years, and vitamin E is consistently one of the most underused tools we have for cardiovascular and circulatory health. Here's why it's at the top of my list. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant, and its job is to protect cells from oxidative damage. Now, in the context of your circulation, the cells that matter most are your endothelial cells, the cells that line the inside of every single blood vessel in your body. Oxidative stress attacks those cells. When they're damaged, the vessels they line don't function properly, blood pressure goes up, vessels constrict, clots are more likely to form. Vitamin E directly protects endothelial cells. It preserves the integrity of your vessel walls in a way that nothing else quite does. And here's where it gets really impressive. Vitamin E stimulates the production of nitric oxide. If you've never heard of nitric oxide in this context, pay attention, because this molecule is the master regulator of vascular tone. Nitric oxide tells your blood vessels to relax and expand. That's called vasodilation. When your vessels dilate, more blood flows through, blood pressure drops, and oxygen delivery to your muscles and tissues, including your legs and feet, dramatically improves. This is the same mechanism that expensive cardiovascular drugs try to replicate. Vitamin E helps your body do it naturally. Beyond circulation, vitamin E has anti-inflammatory properties that benefit your immune system, your skin, and your brain. Research has shown associations between adequate vitamin E levels and reduced risk of Alzheimer's disease and atherosclerosis. It helps your body produce red blood cells and keeps them from sticking together and forming clots. The recommended daily intake for adult men is 15 milligrams or 22.4 international units of natural vitamin E. For therapeutic purposes, particularly for men with diagnosed circulation issues, many physicians recommend 200 to 400 IU per day from natural sources, listed as D-alpha-tocopherol on supplement labels, not DL-alpha-tocopherol, which is the synthetic form. Do not go above 1,000 milligrams per day. High doses can increase bleeding risk, especially if you're on blood thinners. Now, I want to address something directly because I've seen it come up, including in the comments on videos like this one. Some recommendations include margarine as a source of vitamin E. And look, yes, some margarines are fortified with vitamin E, but I'm not going to recommend margarine to you. Why? Because most commercial margarines are made with heavily processed vegetable oils, and many contain trans fats or other additives that actively hurt your cardiovascular health. Trading one problem for another is not a strategy I'm comfortable with. Here are the vitamin E food sources I actually recommend. Almonds. Just 1 ounce gives you about 7.3 milligrams, nearly half your daily value. Sunflower seeds, one of the highest natural sources per serving. Hazelnuts, peanuts and natural peanut butter. Wheat germ oil, the single richest natural source of vitamin E per tablespoon. Avocado, a great everyday option for men who want to incorporate more healthy fats. Spinach and broccoli, solid sources, especially for the guys who are also watching their K2 intake. And extra virgin olive oil. Not as high in vitamin E as wheat germ oil, but it comes with a host of other cardiovascular benefits that make it worth using daily. If you're going the supplement route, look for natural vitamin E, D-alpha tocopherol, ideally in a mixed tocopherol formula, which more closely mimics the way vitamin E occurs in food. Take it with a meal that contains fat, since it's fat soluble and absorbs much better that way. Now, I want to talk about something that I think gets skipped over too often in these videos, and that's the reality of lifestyle. I've had patients come in and tell me their diet isn't great. They're not exercising. They're carrying extra weight. And they want to know, do these vitamins still work? Here's my honest answer. Yes, they help, but they are not magic pills that overcome a poor diet and a sedentary lifestyle. Vitamins work synergistically with how you live. If you're eating fast food multiple times a week and not moving your body, you are creating the conditions for poor circulation every single day. And 4 vitamins aren't going to fully counteract that. But here's the thing, I'm not going to lecture you. You're adults. What I will say is this, every step in the right direction matters. You don't have to overhaul your entire life tomorrow. But if you start adding these vitamins while also making even small improvements to how you eat and move, you will feel the difference. I promise you that. And speaking of movement, let me give you some simple, practical things you can start doing today that directly support circulation in your legs and feet. These work in combination with the vitamins, and they cost you nothing. First, elevate your legs when you're resting. Prop them up about 8 inches, roughly the height of a small step stool. This uses gravity in your favor, helping blood and fluid return from your feet back toward your heart. Do this for 20 minutes in the evening, and you will notice the difference. Second, ankle circles and foot pumps. Sit in your chair, lift your foot off the floor, and rotate your ankle. 10 circles clockwise, 10 counterclockwise. Then flex your foot up and down like you're pressing a gas pedal. Do 2 sets of this throughout the day. It activates the calf muscles, which act as a second pump for venous blood return. If you sit for long periods at a desk, watching TV on a long drive, set a timer and do this every 30 to 45 minutes. Third, toe raises. Stand at your kitchen counter for balance and rise up onto your toes, then lower back down. Do 15 to 20 repetitions. Do this on a slightly uneven surface like a folded towel or a yoga mat if you can. It engages more of the stabilizer muscles in your foot and ankle, which improves overall muscle tone and circulation in that region. Fourth, cold water rinse on your legs? I know, nobody wants to hear cold water. But hear me out. Finishing your shower with 2 to 3 minutes of cool to cold water sprayed upward from your feet to your knees causes your blood vessels to contract and then expand. This alternating constriction and dilation acts like a pump, stimulating blood flow. It also reduces swelling and that heavy leg feeling at the end of the day. Start mildly cool and work your way down in temperature. You don't have to be a cold plunge enthusiast. Just a slightly cooler shower finish does the job. Fifth, a gentle leg massage before bed. Start at your feet and work upward toward your knee using firm, continuous pressure. Don't go from your knee downward. Always work in the direction of your heart. Even 5 minutes of this before you sleep helps move stagnant blood and lymphatic fluid, reduces overnight swelling, and honestly, it just feels good at the end of a long day. Now, before I wrap up, I want to answer a question I get asked a lot, and it relates to something I've seen come up in comments. Dr. Weston, can't I just take all of these in a multivitamin and call it a day? The honest answer is, it depends on the multivitamin and it depends on you. Most standard multivitamins don't contain therapeutic doses of these nutrients. They contain baseline amounts, enough to prevent deficiency, not enough to address an active circulation issue. So if you're dealing with real symptoms, cold feet, leg cramps, tingling, varicose veins, you likely need targeted supplementation on top of a good diet, not just a 1-a-day pill. That said, I always recommend getting a blood panel done first. Knowing your actual levels of B vitamins, vitamin D, which also affects vascular health, and checking your lipid panel gives you a real picture of where you're starting from. Ask your doctor for a comprehensive metabolic panel along with your standard cholesterol numbers. If they push back, explain that you want a baseline. It's a reasonable request, and most insurance covers it as part of a standard annual physical. One more thing I want to address before we go. I mentioned the comment about supplements and pharmaceutical skepticism, and I get it. I really do. The American healthcare system has serious issues. Drug companies have financial interests. Doctors are busy and sometimes dismissive. None of that is made up. But I want you to be careful not to swing so far in the other direction that you avoid all medical care. There are real conditions: peripheral arterial disease, deep vein thrombosis, diabetic neuropathy, that require proper diagnosis and medical treatment. Vitamins are powerful tools, but they are part of a comprehensive approach, not a replacement for it. Use both. Advocate for yourself. And find a physician who listens to you, because you deserve one. Here's a quick summary of everything we covered today, so you can write it down or screenshot this part. Vitamin B3, niacin. Start at 100 milligrams with food. Work up to 500 milligrams. Great for vasodilation and cholesterol management. Best food sources: chicken, tuna, peanuts, lentils. Vitamin C. Aim for 500 milligrams per day from a combination of food and supplement. Best food sources: red bell peppers, kiwi, strawberries, citrus. Eat them fresh and raw when possible. Vitamin K2, MK7 form, 180 to 360 micrograms per day. Critical if you're worried about arterial calcification. Best food sources: natto, hard cheeses, egg yolks. Important: check with your doctor if you're on warfarin. Vitamin E, D-alpha tocopherol, natural form, 200 to 400 IU per day with a fat-containing meal. Best food sources: almonds, sunflower seeds, avocado, wheat germ oil. Skip the margarine. And the lifestyle habits: elevate your legs, do ankle circles and toe raises throughout the day. Finish your shower with cool water on your legs and do a gentle upward massage before bed. That's it. That's the real information. No fluff, no runaround. If this video helped you, please share it with someone who needs it: a buddy, a brother, your dad. These are the kinds of conversations men need to be having, and they're not happening enough. Drop your questions in the comments. I read them, and your questions actually shape what I cover in future videos, so keep them coming. Coming up next on the channel, we're talking about 5 natural plants that can help protect your heart and prevent cardiac events. You don't want to miss that one. I'll see you there. Take care of yourselves, guys. You've earned it.